Hey, what is going on, everyone? This is Yaboyrocklee. We're jumping into another Primarch video. We're getting into Angron Thal'Kyr. If you guys don't know, I do content regularly. I use the pinned comment to receive suggestions on my particular videos. So you got something that's dope and you want me to check it out, make sure you use that. I do take notes as I keep going. It's just so I don't forget things. I'm a very forgetful person. I'm very forgetful. I ain't gonna hold you guys. You guys are gonna have to remind me of things several times for me to remember. Anyways, we're just gonna jump into the video, guys. Right to it.
Russ kept his kin friends. The lion kept Lufa. Humans, brothers, and foster fathers, saved and raised into legion ranks. But not me. Not Angron, no. Did the Emperor teleport his gold-wrapped custodians down to help me and my army?
Oh,
no.
he's mad.
Did he free the warhounds and order them to battle, fight alongside me? No. Did he save my brothers and sisters the way he spared and honored the lion's closest kin? No. The way he honored Corferon? No, no, and no. No mercy for Angron. Angron the Oathbreaker. Angron the Betrayer.
Oh. I don't think I gotta watch much. I understand. Ugh. I understand why this man betrayed the Emperor. The Emperor didn't have this dude's back. Yo, the video is done. I don't need to watch it anymore. Anyways, let's see.
The Primarchs of his Imperium would shoulder many burdens with their service. Created to lead humanity's greatest armies, to purge the galaxy of heresy and malevolent influence, each Primarch would wrestle control of their inner nature to best lead their legions as exemplars of the Emperor's vision. Yet many of the sons of the Master of Mankind would be afflicted with inner turmoil and prove to be unsalvageable. For today, we shall elucidate one such Primarch whose homeworld influence would forever damn him to a life of pain, fury, and bloodlust.
They made this, man.
The Lord of the Red Sands, Angron.
Lord of the Red Sands.
With the scattering of the Primarchs across the stars, the Primarch of the 12th Legion would land upon the world of Nuceria within close proximity to the Ultima Segmentum.
Ultima Segmentum.
A civilized world ruled by aristocratic titans.
Ultima Segmentum. They said that casually. I'm supposed to know what that is. Ultima Segment. Wait. I saw it. What is that? It's one of the divisions of galaxy knows the segmentums of Imperium. That's by far the largest. Oh, it's just one of the divisions of the galaxy, I guess. Okay.
Tyrants. The technologically advanced civilization, with those self-sufficient, bear a deeply troubling fascination with violence.
That's troublesome.
The impoverished civilians under the ruling elite of the planet hungered to vent their frustrations by observing the misery and suffering of others. Organizing gladiatorial spectacles to distract the populace, the oligarchic nobles would cybernetically enhance their chosen pawns to enact brutal rampages within the gladiator pits. The young Primarch would be discovered by a slaver of the pits, finding the injured boy surrounded by Xenos corpses high in the Deshelika Mountains.
Okay, Spartacus.
Scholars would theorize the assailants to be the Eldari, armed with the forewarning of the scourge that the young boy would bring to the galaxy. Their assassination failed. The corpses of the Xenos would aid in encouraging the slaver to sell his foundling for a high price to the rulers of Nuceria. Brought to the palace of Praxica, within the city of Deshea, the slaver would sell the young warrior to the house of Thal'Kyr. Thrust into battle, barely of the age of a toddler, the child Primarch would, alongside 100 slaves, battle an acid-spewing creature upon the gladiator pit Ziggurat.
What?
As acid filled the arena, the Primarch
This
would
is
by
insane.
necessity kill any who took up space on the ever-dwindling platform. Surviving his first battle within the pit,
Spartacus.
the child would shed a tear for those he had slain to endure his barbaric trial. His promise as a gladiator would see the child ascend to fight within the largest arena of the land and be given the name Angronius Thal'Kyr, Child of the Mountain. Recovering from his wounds, Angron would rapidly grow in size due to his enhanced genetics, and within months become the foremost acclaimed gladiator of Nuceria. The populace of Nuceria would come to cherish the champion of the arena. dubbing the Primarch as the Lord of the Red Sands. After his deeds on the blood-soaked earth of Gladiator pits, Angron, whilst physically strong, would also display a profound sense of honor and mercy. Sparing the lives of gladiators whom had proven their merit in battle, Angron would slay hundreds of warriors, yet never succumb to his baser instincts. The unbeaten Gladiator of Deshea would, despite his circumstance, enjoy the thrill of battle and adulation of his people. Yet in secret, Angron would plot to escape his bonds of slavery, and on many
Yourself? You just asked me. Hi. I'm back, folks. If my vibe is different than the first part of this video, my bad, man. You know, sometimes you just be going through it, man. As content creators, life just gets you, and you just gotta keep going with a smile. And that is just that. I should actually record another day, but I have OCDs, and I don't like leaving things unfinished if I don't have to. It's just a thing. I gotta finish! Ah! There's so much time left in the video. I can't just leave it for another day. So let's just jump into it. I actually, now I think about it, I think I'm perfectly adapted to the rest of this vibe, man. Because what is it? The theme of this video was the Emperor. I gotta be really careful. But we saw it in the beginning of this video. Let's just go back to it as a group, right? And everything should be understood because, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yo, what did my homie say?
Lion kept Lufa. Humans, brothers and foster fathers,
brothers,
saved and raised into legion ranks. But not me.
Not me.
Not Angron.
Not Angron.
No. Did the Emperor
Did the
teleport
Emperor
his
teleport
golden
his God
custodians down to help me and my army? No. Did he free
You know what? I can't do this at the same time as him. Did he free the warhounds and order them to battle, to fight alongside
the warhounds
me?
and order them to battle, fight alongside me? No.
No.
Did he say?
Did he save my brothers, the sisters, the way he spared and honored the lion's closest kin? I say it again. No, and no! All right. I think we all perfectly got the vibes we need to continue. There we go. Actually, I'm in much better spirits now.
Whom had proven their merit in battle.
Where was I?
Angron would slay hundreds of warriors, yet never succumb to his baser instincts.
I guess I'll just stick right here.
The unbeaten Gladiator of Deshea would, despite his circumstance, enjoy the thrill of battle and adulation of his people. Yet in secret, Angron would plot to escape his bonds of slavery, and on many occasions attempt, and fail, to escape his captors.
My man is Spartacus.
Mentored by the veteran gladiator of the pits, Oenimus, the old warrior would act as a foster father to the young and impressionable Primarch.
Cool gear.
Side by side, Angron and Oenimus would slay scores of opponents within the pit. An especially acclaimed victory against a pair of Ogren berserkers implanted with the deadly contraption known as the Butcher's Nails. Their ample strength further amplified by the cortical implants, the opponents of the Lord of Red Sands would bound into the fray with feral rage and fury. Yet such a victory would sour the efforts of the so-called High Riders of the aristocrats of Nuceria, and soon after, Angron would be pitted against his mentor in combat.
Terrible.
Facing one another in a duel to the death, Angron would refuse to fight his father figure. The Primarch's insolence would see him restrained by the guards of the arena, and as punishment, the High Riders would implant the Butcher's Nails within Angron's skull. A relic from the dark age of technology, historical records are unclear as to how the Nucerians came to own such dangerous implants, but what can be gleaned is that their actions would damn countless billions to death across the millennia. Imbued with increased adrenal function, strength, aggression, and overwhelming bloodlust, Angron's path to damnation would begin.
Oh, that sucks.
Blinding all sense of reason or morality within the Primarch's mind. The nails would dig deep until all that would end their inflicted suffering would be the release of blood and viscera.
Oh, man.
Rewarding violence with spasms of pleasure, Angron would become a living embodiment of rage.
Oh, man.
The High Riders would test their new feral beast's abilities by releasing Oenimus to face him in combat.
Oh, that's terrible.
Tearing him limb from limb, Angron's hunger for violence would not be sated in his frenzied, berserk state.
That's such a
Regaining
sad
clarity
story,
after
man.
the maiming of his foster father,
What?
Angron would quickly wallow in despair at
Oh,
his
so
actions.
his mind does get restored. to a certain
Howling
degree.
alike to a feral beast, Angron's wails of sorrow would not end for several days. Angron would swear that one day he shall escape the shackles of the High Riders and achieve vengeance for his manipulation and his father's death.
Let's see. Dope
For
character,
several
man.
years, Angron would train and organize the gladiators of the arena into a brotherhood of warriors. Dominating any challengers chosen to face them, the Dashaean gladiators would respect their leader with utter devotion and aid in his plot to escape the arena. Upon the grandest spectacle of the Death Games, the gladiators would make their escape. Assembling the entirety of his men, Angron and his gladiators would enter the arena en masse to rapturous applause. Turning on the arena guards, the gladiators would butcher their wardens and escape the arena among the panicked
Pure
stampede
manliness.
of the civilian onlookers.
Good.
Armed with firearms, the remaining arena guards would put down a swathe of the gladiators, armed with swords and scant armor. Yet despite the resistance,
Somehow I was surprised to see guns, man. I forgot we're in 40K Warhammer. So, these people saw put out Tullius. I was like, what? Spartacus and them weren't prepared for that.
2,000 Dashaean gladiators would escape to the mountains
That's
of Angron's
crazy.
origins. For years, the rulers would hunt down the gladiators and slowly erode their numbers. Naming themselves the Eaters of Cities, the Dashaean gladiators under Angron's command would hold any incursion to capture or slay their band of warriors. However, attrition would slowly see to the dwindling of the Eaters of Cities until their numbers declined to 1,000 men and women.
Jeez.
Upon the mountain of Fed and Moor, Angron's band of gladiators would make their final stand. At the Jest Elica Ridge, the Eaters of Cities would be surrounded by 7 armies of Nuceria. Angron and his warriors would be doomed to die in combat, for even a Primarch would be unable to best such an overwhelming force.
Yo, you know who that look like? Oh, hold on. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, whoa, wait. Hey, that's not who I was gonna look up. Oh, so that's just another guy who has a similar name. This is what I was going for. Wait a second. Yo! That literally is Crixus. What the hell is going on here? I knew. Yo, that's funny. That's literally the image. Is this image? Oh, okay, yeah, nice lady. It's literally this image right here. Oh, I mean, it couldn't be. Look at the shoulder. Okay. It's a slightly different shoulder design. Both characters wear the necklace, and you see the ball part of it, and you see the hairstyle, even the strands across the forehead. Yeah, that's definitely him. And is there a flag? No. Oh, okay. So between this TV show, the real life event, and 40K, it must be mirroring a real character that was a story that was similar to Spartacus. Was him getting out and he got surrounded just like this. Okay. Cool. I'm actually so glad I recognized that. I'm a Spartacus fan. I really loved it. Shout out to both versions of Spartacus. Shout out to the OG. The second man did a fantastic job in my opinion. But y'all not here for that. I'm just really happy that I caught this reference.
Yet Angron would not die this day, and with the intervention of the Emperor of Mankind, the Primarch of the 12th Legion would be saved this day, and with Angron and his warriors would be doomed to die in combat,
Angron and his warriors.
for even a Primarch would be unable to best
I thought they
such
just
an
showed a random
overwhelming
guy.
force. Yet Angron would not die this day, and with the intervention of the Emperor of Mankind, the Primarch
I feel like they just showed Crixus from Spartacus, but there's no one in Warhammer who has anything to do with this guy.
of the 12th Legion would be saved. Observing the Primarch's struggles in secret, the Master of Mankind would watch his son's rebellion from afar.
That's dope.
Descending to the battle with a cadre of his custodians, the Emperor would offer his aid in the battle, should his son assume the mantle of leadership of the 12th Legion, the Warhounds. Refusing the Emperor's offer, Angron would demand that he remain on Nuceria with his Gladiator kin, and not withdraw from the planet
That's what
until
he
his
said,
enslavers
in the
had been
beginning.
brought to justice. Reluctantly, the Emperor would teleport Angron to his flagship, shocked at the sheer refusal of his son to adopt the responsibility ordained by his word. Finding his son wanting in strategical acumen, the Master of Mankind would not let his irreplaceable son die to the rabble of a backwater planet. The Eaters of Cities would be massacred without the leadership of Angron, to which the Lord of Red Sands would watch their annihilation helplessly from orbit. Lashing out at the Custodian Guard, Angron would slay one of the Emperor's guardians until the Master of Mankind would use his psychic might to subdue the Primarch.
What?
Hoping in time that Angron would understand the realities of why the Emperor had abandoned his band of warriors, the Master of Mankind would seek to salvage the potential of his much beleaguered and scarred son. Angron
I'm with Angron. Yo, this is straight up. Yo, am I wrong in assuming that the Emperor of Mankind could have done this? But it seems like his pride was bothered. He's like, yo, you dare ask me a favor? Yo, teleport his ass up here real quick, man. Pop, 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 pop. I started running the ones on the planet and then left his people. I'm with Angron on this one.
was a ghost of the Emperor's former plans, yet a Primarch he would remain. For every Primarch would serve the Imperium in the campaigns of the Great Crusade. Embittered to his father's dismissal of his plight, Angron would come to resent the Emperor for his disregard for his honor to die with his men.
Oh, he wanted to die.
Nurturing the deep wound in his psyche, the Lord of Red Sands would regardless assume command of his legion, the Warhounds, in an attempt to sate the ever-worsening cravings of the Butcher's Nails. Murdering the captains of his legion and the 12th Legion Master, Ibram Grier, in a fit of rage, Angron's hatred for his stranger sons would be calmed with the intervention of the Legion's 8th captain, Khan.
What?
Volunteering to soothe his Primarch's torment, Khan would be beaten to near death by his Genefather. Yet Khan's resolve to never accept defeat would resonate with his Primarch, and for his efforts, a bond between Khan and Angron would form. Convincing his Primarch that the Legion was worthy to honor the legacy of the Gladiators of Deshea, Captain Driga would offer a change in the 12th's title. No longer would they be the Emperor's Warhounds. From then on, they would become the Eaters of Worlds for the Lord of Red Sands.
I love it.
Now known throughout the
Eater of
Imperium
Worlds.
as the World Eaters.
World
Angron
Eaters.
would lead his men to bring many worlds
Okay.
into compliance into the fold of the Imperium,
I like it.
incorporating the Nucerian gladiator cultural trappings into their legion. The World
Trappings.
Eaters would become synonymous for their efficient yet bloody deeds. Experts in neurological surgery and cortical implant technologies would study the Primarch's affliction of the Butcher's Nails. Realizing that the implants, combined with the Primarch's enhanced biological functions, had integrated beyond all hope of removal, Angron's brain had been remapped to incorporate the nail's influence above all other stimuli of his body,
Oh, man.
reducing his serotonin neurotransmitters and deadening all emotions beside aggression.
That's
Angron's capabilities of reason would be continually lost as the influence of the nails progressed.
only the chaos could
Removal of
save
the
him.
Butcher's Nails would definitely kill the Primarch,
The
yet their
Butcher's
continual
Nails.
presence would regardless slowly kill him.
Dang.
The 12th Legion's burdens would be many, as not only was their Primarch slowly dying from his affliction, his reputation as the only Primarch to fail in conquering his homeworld would worsen the World Eater's already infamous reputation.
The only Primarch who
Morale was
failed.
low within the 12th Legion, yet their purpose as the serrated edge of the Great Crusade would at least give them purpose. Conflict was the only measure of the worth of the World Eaters, for they would
What a
earn no
tragic
glory
story.
or plaudits, only satisfaction in battle as warriors. Seeking to emulate their Primarch and become closer to his solitary struggle, the legionaries of the World Eaters would volunteer themselves to undergo the procedure to be implanted with Butcher's Nails of their own devising.
What?
Ordering his apothecaries to construct the nails and begin implanting them within his legion, Angron would seek to transform the 12th into warriors befitting the heritage of Nuceria's gladiators.
Wow.
Initially
Respect to his
yielding
men,
a
though.
100% failure rate, the nails would cause any implanted to die a painful death. Yet Angron would not relent in his demands for the nails to be refined and trialed, abandoning his legion for their weakness to follow in the steps of the gladiators of Deshea.
Hey, they tried.
It would take 2 years for his
tried.
equerry, Khan, to reunite the Lord of Red Sands
shouldn't have
with his
tried.
legion. Shedding their
They shouldn't have tried, man. They really tried, but they just kept dying.
weakness, Khan would be the first to survive the Butcher's Nail surgery, and by
Jeez.
his example, the legion would completely integrate the nails into their bodies, or die in the attempt.
Jeez.
Observing the rapid devolution of the World Eater's discipline in favor of frenzied rage, detractors of the 12th Legion would let their criticisms be known. Primarch of the Ultramarines Legion would be disgusted during his joint campaign alongside Angron during the cleansing of Arigata. Nicknamed the Red Angel, Angron's reputation for committing atrocities would become of great concern to the Imperium.
Yo, why do they keep hyping up these boys? Yo, Angron can do no wrong. Angron can do no wrong. You can't tell me he's a bad man. I will not believe it, man. But they keep talking about atrocities to the Empire. But nah, Angron's still on business, and this Emperor did him wrong.
The World Eaters in their frenzied state had hurled themselves into the most unwinnable of odds, and enacted a heavy toll of losses for their lack of self-preservation. Ordering his men to bring worlds into compliance within 31 Nucerian standard hours, upon failure, the Red Angel would execute 1/10 of his men in order to root out the weakness within the Legion.
What?
Learning of the Butcher's Nails implantation within the Legion,
Oh,
the Emperor of Mankind would dispatch the Primarch of the 6th Legion,
We don't want to see
Leman
Leman
Russ, to order
Leman Russ?
Angron to end his heretical surgeries.
Oh.
Known by Imperial records as the Knight of the Wolf, the Emperor's executioner with his legion of Space Wolves would confront the World Eaters after the massacre of the planet of Genna. Refusing the orders of the Wolf King, Angron
King.
and Leman Russ would battle.
Oh my
The
god.
Fenrisian Chainsword, Krakenmaw, would clash against Angron's Chain Axe, Widowmaker.
Widowmaker.
Each legion would claim that the
Chain
other
axe.
fired the first shot that would begin the melee, but all that bears remembering is that there would be no clear victor of the skirmish. Widowmaker would be destroyed at the hands of the Wolf King, yet Angron would assert his victory in combat against the restrained might of Leman Russ.
Jeez, that's a cool
Yet
weapon,
Angron
though.
would assert his victory in combat against the restrained might of the Wolf King. Withdrawing from battle, despite their censure and warning of the Imperium, the World Eaters would continue their Butcher's Nails implantation. Claiming the skulls of their foes from battle, the World Eaters would not relent in their ever-worsening onslaught across the galaxy. The Imperium would ignore the barbarity of the 12th Legion's actions should they continue to enforce the will of the Emperor.
Which is exactly what they're doing.
Yet such oversight would prove to be devastating to the future of the Imperium, with the dawn of the civil war for humanity's soul, the Horus Heresy.
The Horus Heresy.
Corrupted by the thrall of the ruinous powers, the War Master and Primarch of the 16th Legion, Horus Lupercal,
Look at
would
his
begin his
face.
quest to end the reign of the Emperor. Before his duplicity would be known, the Master of Mankind would send the War Master to confront Angron for his actions during the Great Crusade,
The War Master for Angron.
offering the Lord of Red Sands a chance at vengeance against his most hated
Hold
father.
on. I
It
kind of
would not
missed what
take
he was
much
saying.
of Horus' actions during the Great Crusade. Offering the Lord of Red Sands a chance at vengeance against his most hated father. It would not take much of Horus' Master of Mankind would send the War Master to confront Angron for his actions during the Great Crusade. Offering the Lord of Red Sands a chance at vengeance against his
see.
most hated
I
father.
see.
It would not take much of Horus' lauded charisma to convince Angron to join the rebellion
Lauded
of the traitor
charisma.
Primarchs. Culling the loyalist elements within his legion, Angron would once more seek to purge any sign of weakness from within his ranks.
This man, I'm gonna.
Among the first members of
how
the
much
Pact
of his
of
own people
Betrayal,
did he kill?
the World Eaters would stand at the forefront of the war for humanity. Joining the second wave of traitors during the Dropsite Massacre of Eastvan 5, Angron would relish the chance to slay the loyalists to the throne. Proving to be instrumental in the vanguard of the traitor war effort, Angron's rampages across the stars would seemingly be destined to succeed. As the Word Bearers and World Eaters joined forces to engage the Ultramarines within their home system
World
of
Bears,
Ultramar, Their so-called Shadow Crusade would slow the advance of the Imperium's most numerically superior and lauded legion.
I love this video.
Yet with every battle fueled by the sting of the Butcher's nails, Angron's terminal affliction would worsen. Attempting to heal his brother, the Primarch of the Word-Bearers, Lorgar Aurelian, would beseech the Red Angel to return to his homeworld of Nuceria. Due to its close proximity within the Ultima Segmentum, the Urizen would hope to confront the High Riders of Nuceria.
Hold on, man. I actually had to stop, take notes real quick, because I don't want to forget this. There's a lot of info. So we got the homie Angron, okay, implanted with the Butchers of Nails, and his legion is the World Eaters. Hates the Emperor, was a gladiator, watched his men die, and uses a chained axe. They all take the Butcher of Nail implant now. Okay.
And with Angron by his side, find a means to remove the Butcher's nails from his afflicted brother. At last given an opportunity to bring his enslaved due to its close proximity within the Ultima Segmentum, the Urizen would hope to confront the High Riders of Nuceria, and with Angron by his side, find a means to remove the Butcher's nails from his afflicted brother.
Interesting.
At last given an opportunity to bring his enslavers to justice, Angron and his World Eaters would venture to Nuceria.
Ooh, we're back.
Upon the arrival of the 12th and 17th Legions to the planet of Nuceria, Angron would descend once more to the Thal'Kyr ridge of the mountains. Paying his respects to his fallen brothers in arms, Angron would collect the skulls of his former brethren and adorn them across his armor.
Wow.
Confronting the High
I don't know
Riders
if
of
that's a good thing or
Teshea,
a bad thing.
Angron would be enraged at their disrespect of the retelling of the deaths of his noble gladiators. The populace believed Angron to have fled the battle and left his men to die in disgrace. Incensed by the lies of the High Riders, Angron would order his men to execute every living soul within the city, and once finished, commit genocide across the planet. Yet the Lord of Red Sand's plot to annihilate his people would be halted by the Ultramarines commanded by their Primarch, Rabute Guilliman. The Retribution fleet of Ultramar would battle the combined might of the World Eaters and Word-Bearers, both in orbit and on the planet's surface. The Lord of Ultramar would battle Lorgar Aurelian in single combat, and after a bitter clash, come close to ending the Urizen's life. However, Angron would not allow Guilliman to end the life of the Bearer of the Word. Unleashing his fury against the Lord of Ultramar, Angron would, despite his might, receive a glancing blow from Guilliman's power fist. A skull of Angron's once dead gladiators would fall from his armor, and Guilliman would unwittingly crush it beneath his mighty ceramite boot.
Ooh.
Surrendering fully to his anguish, Angron would once more launch himself into the fray. Feeling the malevolent power of the warp in the wake of Angron's boundless grief, emanating from beyond the veil of the mortal realm. Chanting heretical litanies and imbuing Angron with the fury of the Blood God, Lorgar would enact the ascension of the Lord of Red Sands into a demon prince of Khorne.
There it is.
His torment, rage and despair coalescing into the form of a demonic being of unimaginable wrath, the Red Angel would achieve apotheosis. Withdrawing from the battle, the Ultramarines and their Primarch would retreat in horror at the sight of the being birthed on the planet of Nuceria.
Jeez.
Lorgar had saved his brother from the clutches of death, yet in doing so, damned countless future souls to suffer at the hands of the reborn Red Angel.
What? Future souls to be suffering
Ordering
now?
Khan to butcher the slaves within the hold of the World Eater's flagship.
Wait. Ordering Khan to butcher the slaves within the whole... Like, why? How did things escalate so far? I know he just became a demon prince, but... Jeez, the atrocities. Okay, maybe I have to reevaluate my Angron support.
Conqueror. The demon prince of Khorne would demand a throne of skulls to be built in his honor.
This is crazy.
Rampaging throughout the galaxy in his now ascended form, Angron's hunger for blood would not be sated by the lesser mortals and fiefdoms of the stars.
What did he want?
Only the blood of humanity's most cherished bastion and its ruler would be fitting for such a horrific being.
Oh, that makes sense.
Brought to assemble with the traitor Primarchs at the world of Ulanor by the Primarch of the Iron Warriors, Perturabo. The World Eaters would once more lead the charge to Holy Terra. Creating a gigantic warp rift above the moon of Luna, Angron and his World Eaters would be the initial hammer blow of the traitor advance. Perched atop the Conqueror, Angron would observe the bloodletting of his legion with grim satisfaction. Enslaved to the whims of the blood god, Khorne, Angron would assault the Imperial Palace during the Siege of Terra as a terrible angel of vengeance.
Angel of vengeance.
Slaying friend and foe alike, Angron's massacre of
Yo, man. Yo, Angron is not, he's no joke, man. They said slaying foe and friend alike, man. He don't care. Dude is on demon time.
any who stood in his path would be terrible and uncompromising in its savagery. Destroying the defenses of the Lion's Gate spaceport and Eternity Wall, even the bravest of souls would fall to the fell Black Blade and its malevolent wielder, before its edge would crash through the great gate of the Imperial Palace.
This guy is massive.
Yet despite the efforts of the World Eaters, would need to hasten their assault.
What?
Wary of the ever closer arrival of the Dark Angels, Space Wolves, and Ultramarines to Holy Terra, the War Master would confront the Emperor in single combat. The Emperor would defeat Horus Lupercal and destroy his very being from existence. The armies of Chaos would fragment and retreat from the Siege of Terra, to which Angron, though the last to withdraw, would be no exception.
Jeez.
Seeking refuge within the Eye of Terror, the World Eaters would over the millennia abandon their Primarch and fragment into several warbands.
They abandoned their Primarch?
His last great revenge against the Master of Mankind thwarted, Angron skulks the Emiterium and bides his time for his seemingly random conquests of distant worlds. Prosecuting
random.
wars in the name of his patron god, Angron would be banished from the material realm during the Dominion of Fire campaign and First War for Armageddon. Yet with the return of the long-dormant Primarch of the Ultramarines, Rabute Gilliman, rumors stir that the Red Angel shall once again return to real space during the Era Indomitus.
What is real space?
Further transformed into a being of unrelenting...
I gotta know what real space is. It's not the first time I've heard it, so give me a second. Real space, 40K Warhammer. What is it? Real space is the physical universe, the space we know where planets and stars exist. It's the opposite of the warp, known as the immaterium or warp space. A dimension of psychic energy. Yeah, I know what that is. Oh, so real space is like where I live. Okay, and then like, you know, God is in the warp, hypothetically, or these demons are in the warp. I guess the reason why I got confused is he was fighting somewhere and then he's going to return. So I'm just going to play that again if you don't mind. Yeah?
Rabute Gilliman, rumors stir that the Red Angel shall once again return to real space during the Era Indomitus. Primarch of the Ultramarines from the material realm during the Dominion of Fire campaign.
Angron was banished from the material realm during the Dominion of Fire campaign and First War for Armageddon. Oh, I see. So he's like in some realm. Okay.
Campaign and First War for Armageddon.
Oh, he left.
Yet with the return of the long-dormant Primarch of the Ultramarines, Rabute Gilliman, rumors stir that the Red Angel shall once again return to real space during the Era Indomitus. Further transformed into a being of unrelenting fury, whose death grants only a momentary reprieve before his inevitable return, the Lord of Red Sands shall not cease his campaign of bloodshed and butchery. For in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war, and the Red Angel shall delight in every death made in the name of conflict across the stars.
Beautiful. Beautiful story.
What brought you so low, brother? Did the machine in your skull finally refashion your loyalty into madness? They let me dream. They give me peace. What would you know of struggle, perfect son?
When have you fought against the mutilations of your mind? When have you had
When have you fought against the mutilations of your mind? I gotta write that one down. That is a bar. When have you fought against the mutilations of your mind? That's a. I'm gonna use it when someone tries to talk trash about the decision makings I made. That's what I'm gonna say to them. They're not even gonna know what I meant by that. When have you fought against the mutilations of your mind? I'm just gonna say it to somebody. It's gonna justify bad decisions I make. That's why I love it so much. Don't disrespect my goat, man, Angron.
to do anything more than
When have you had to do anything more than tally compliances and polish your armor?
tally compliances and polish your
Sorry
armor?
about my hiccups.
Childish, Gilliman sighed, gesturing to the burning, dying city. Does it really come down to this? So pitiably childish.
Childish? The people of your world named you Great One. The people of mine called me Slave.
The people of your world named you Great One. The people of mine called me slave.
Angron stepped back, chainsaws revving harder.
Which one of us landed on a paradise of civilization to be raised by a foster father, Rabute? Which one of us was given armies to lead after training in the halls of the Macragian High Riders? Which one of us inherited a strong, cultured kingdom?
This is the only part I don't like, man. Angron, if you're gonna be bad, just be bad, bro. You jumping a whole bunch of excuses. I know it. I know it. The thing is, when you know what your excuses are, it also means in some capacity that you're aware, right? So then your excuses are a little less. I know he's actually going through what we would call the mutilations of your mind. So Angron truly is a special case. But if you're talking to somebody and you say, yo, why do you keep making bad decisions? Like, I didn't have it like you, son. I grew up with a single mom and it was 4 of us in the crib, son. All of that was around me was crack and drugs, Well, crack is a drug. But yeah, it's like sometimes it's like, but the fact that you are aware of the difference between us means like you're aware of an alternative. But you could continue that conversation and go, my environment didn't give me a way out. Let me see where Angron goes. Maybe he has a way to cook this.
Angron splayed blood as he frothed the words.
And which of us had to rise up against a kingdom with nothing but a horde of starving slaves? Which one of us was a child enslaved in a world of monsters, with his brain cut open by carving knives?
The two Primarchs met again.
Carving knives.
Gilliman's powered gauntlets should have easily deflected Angron's chainswords, but the World Eater's strength drove his brother back step by step. Chain teeth sprayed from the weapons as eagerly as the saliva from Angron's lipless slit of a mouth.
Chain teeth sprayed from the weapons as Wait, just going in all directions? The saliva from Angron's lipless slit of a mouth. Jeez, what the heck happened to his face? It sounds like his excuse was, though, remember I said your environment? I was going with it. So you single mom, 4 kids, you're surrounded by drugs, you don't have many opportunities. That you're surrounded by drugs, you don't have very much opportunities. It's the implant, the mutilations of his mind. So he really can't get this rage out of him, which perpetually makes him do bad choices. Got it, man. Angron is truly a victim of his environment.
Listen to your blue-clad wretches yelling of courage and honor. Courage and honor. Do you even know the meaning of those words? Courage is fighting the kingdom that enslaves you, no matter that their armies overshadow yours by 10,000 to 1. You know nothing of courage. Honor is restraining a tyrant when all others suckle and grow fat on the hypocrisy he feeds them.
Yep.
You know nothing
of
honor.
Yeah. I love the
This has been a
conversation back
tale
and forth.
of the great Imperium of Man. Read by the Remembrancer. Angron would be the epitome of the cursed bargains bequeathed by the ruinous powers. For while their gifts may grant power to their subjects, they shall be tormented forevermore as slaves to their impulses and desires. For in my next transmission, we shall elucidate a Primarch, though resistant to the thrall of chaos, would nonetheless succumb to its tainted embrace. The bitter and caustic lord of death, Mortarion.
Mortarion. I feel like this is out of order. The list is out of our order. Because who's after? Because we got Roberto is next. Somebody should let this go. Oh, the Pale King is dope, but we're gonna do Roberto, the 52-15. There's two of these, but I can't imagine they're both what I need to watch. I'm gonna check that one out. I find it interesting that the Primarchs I really vibe with, as far as their stories go, are ones that die early or have a very bad ending. Like the doper their actual story, and maybe that's because they're dead or so. So like it kind of goes with the territory. But if they're not dead, we probably haven't gotten to the meat of the stories enough. Or we have, but there's just so much more story to tell. But if you're gonna kill a character off or whatever, you gotta really make sure you tell their story. But Conrad, dope story. Ferris Manus, dope story. Angron, I felt like of everyone that I've heard betray the Emperor, he had like the best. It was on site. Never liked the dude, and I don't blame him. It was the circumstances in which he was taken, and his men left to die, and Angron was going to die with them. And on top of that, the planet that Angron was in, they put these goddamn implants in him. This dude never had a chance, man. I wonder how Conrad and Angron got along. You know what I mean? And the Emperor was kind of foolish, in my opinion, to be having Angron fight or lead his men. But at the same time, he did successfully conquer a lot of worlds for the sake of the Imperium. So I don't know, man. Sometimes it was bad for the Emperor to take on his sons, or to add these sons that fell to chaos. But it was possibly good for mankind that we had all these sons, because they still destroyed a lot of enemies before they turned on each other. Which kind of reminds me of whoever the Angron or the Archon were fighting. The people that made the Archon were great. They destroyed whoever they needed to destroy, then they turned on each other, and the Archon was able to destroy them after they turned on each other. So, maybe the Emperor made the right decision in the grand scheme of mankind. I don't know. But I like their stories. Very, very good story. Me, I'm going to keep going down the Primarch list. If you guys have content to recommend, use my pinned comment to suggest it, because I'm going to look back a couple months from now, looking under the pinned comment for things. And, we're going to keep going through after we reach all the Primarchs. After we reach the Primarch and the Horus Heresy, God dang it. Anyways, what's next, folks? Where is the journey? Really looking forward to your guidance. I love jumping into series like this because I don't have to think too much. I know 2 times out of the 4 days of the week, I'm going to watch a Primarch video. And I love structure. So I'm curious to know if there's a series, something that I can just click and play and drop my feedback and commentary with you guys. And I like that. I love direction. All right, guys. I got a Discord. I got a Patreon. I love to see you guys in the Discord recommending content or clearing things up that I possibly misunderstood. So once I have a couple people in there, we're going to set up the Warhammer chat room. So comment when you join, so we can make that migration, guys. Until next time, I'm Rockty Lee. I'm out. As always, thanks for supporting this channel. If you don't know, we do have a Patreon, and it's free to join. You can stay updated, suggest content, or vote on polls. If you're interested in our uncut and early reactions to anime, K-drama, Western shows, and movie reactions, which include exclusive reactions not found on YouTube, you can join the upper tiers on Patreon, or you can stick with the edited content right here on YouTube. We got Yaboyrocklee Reactions also in the description of this video. Until next time, I'm out.